Tonight at 6, tow truck drivers are asking people to move over and slow down after a scary incident on the Beltline this weekend. And the chancellor at UW-Whitewater is resigning after controversy earlier this year. We have the details.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us. Tow truck drivers are speaking out on behalf of police officers, tow truck operators, and other highway workers, saying enough is enough. They're attempting to raise awareness of the slow down and move over law. Jamie Perez shares their message after a scary incident that happened this weekend.
It happens to all of us. Sometimes we have car troubles that get us stuck on the side of a road and need a tow truck driver. Well, some of those drivers have a special message that they want to get out so that everyone can stay safer on the roads. This urge for safety comes after this incident that happened over the weekend. Keep your eyes to the right.
Dispatched out for a call right before fish hatchery. The vehicle just clipped them. Charger swerved into the lane and came back over and had parked. And then, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the driver took off running.
It's moments like this that make highway workers fear their jobs.
They're not really regarding their life.
John Van says when you're driving on the freeway, 55 miles an hour might not seem like it's that fast. But when you're the one on the side of the road and vulnerable,
it's pretty scary.
He says tow truck drivers are sick of living in fear. He says he wishes people would move over for tow trucks like they do for cops.
They have red and blue lights, and people tend to move over for them a little more than red and amber.
Moving over is the law, but not everyone follows it all the time. John says we need to work together to ensure safety.
People are not going to stop breaking down on the freeway. I can tell you that. And we got to come up with some solution.
He added it's the American way to be in a hurry, but sometimes he wishes people would think about the potential rush to an emergency room instead of the rush to your next destination.
I think sometimes drivers are a little more concerned about being a minute early to something or to get to their couch with their family, but they forget about the people on the side of the road and their families.
Speaking on behalf of all highway workers, John hopes to spread a powerful message to all drivers to slow down and move over.
Because it's worth it. It really is.
In Madison, Jamie Perez, WISC News 3.
And a reminder from safety experts, even if it is not the law, it is safer to move over for any vehicle you see on the side of the highway. A Wisconsin woman is speaking out against a law she says failed her, hoping lawmakers will change the way first offense OWI cases are handled in Wisconsin. On August 9th, Jennifer Kilburn was driving to work when she was hit by a drunk driver. That driver, 25-year-old Jesse Liddell, was pulled over earlier that night for driving under the influence, but because it was a first offense, he was released to his mother. Liddell got his keys back that night, which led to him T-boning Kilburn's car. She says this never would have happened if Liddell had stayed in jail.
I think that if we had a law to where they had to stay in jail for, let's say, 12 hours, then this wouldn't have happened to me because he wouldn't have been let out.
Our colleague Keely Arthur took an in-depth look at our OWI laws in Wisconsin. We'll have more on how first offenders can become repeat offenders within hours in Wisconsin. That's tonight on News 3 at 10. The mild weather continues as we move closer to the holiday. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
You know, I've been asked this question about 100 times today. Is it going to be a white Christmas this year? And I think the chances are going to be pretty small. We've had a mild day today, plenty of sunshine. You can see where there's snow on the ground. That's the visible satellite imagery. That's the white that doesn't move. And you can see there's very little in the way of cloudiness or white that does move. Some clouds up through mainly northeastern Wisconsin, northern Michigan, and that's pretty much about it. So those areas that still have a couple of inches of snow on the ground may keep at least a little bit of it before Christmas. But again, those are areas well north of Madison, even through central Wisconsin, only about 1 to 3 inches of snow at most on the ground. You have to get up to around Marquette, Michigan before you see about 6 inches on the ground. Low temperatures this morning, generally in the upper 20s, a few teens where there was a little more snow cover back north and west of Wisconsin Dells. High temperatures today, generally in the mid-30s. Here in Madison, officially, we touched 40 degrees. Milwaukee hit 42, and we'll see very similar temperatures for tomorrow and Wednesday as well. Current temperatures have fallen back below freezing here in Madison. We're at 29 degrees, but the winds are light. There's really no wind chill to speak of. Look for clear skies overnight. Temperatures dropping into the lower 20s by tomorrow morning. Look for sunny skies for tomorrow. Our high temperature topping out at a mild 42. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. The UW Board of Regents will soon start looking for a new chancellor at UW-Whitewater as the current chancellor since 2015 steps down amidst a scandal involving her husband. Beverly Copper's husband, Pete Hill, has been the center of UW system investigations after claims he sexually harassed female employees. Our Madeline O'Neill is back from the university with how those on campus are reacting and what it means for the future there. Maddie?
Eric, Hill is banned from campus after previous UW system investigations concluded in June. Now, since a new investigation also looking into sexual harassment claims launched in September, elected officials have been among those asking Copper to resign. Today, they got their wish. In an announcement this morning, Copper wrote that serving as chancellor has been an honor and a privilege, but did not go into reasons why she's leaving. In her official resignation, she wrote, "I am aware that the Board of Regents would like different leadership." In the board's reply, board president Ray Cross thanked her for her service and accomplishments. We spoke to several students, some who are shocked and some who aren't.
Yeah, she will be missed. I definitely liked having her as our chancellor, and I thought she represented what kind of our school should represent. So
at the same time, I kind of saw it all coming. I think half the student population saw it coming.
The decision is receiving praise from State Senator Steve Nass, who says it opens the door for positive change. Now, new within this hour, the Associated Press reports Copper will stay on as a professor at the university. The Board of Regents tell us they will soon name an interim chancellor as they begin the search for a new chancellor. That process will start early next year.
All right. Thank you very much, Maddie. The fight over restricting early voting in Wisconsin is heading to federal court now. Attorneys for a coalition of liberal groups are asking a federal judge to block a law change signed by the governor last week. That law would limit early voting to no more than 2 weeks before an election. The coalition is made up of several groups, including One Wisconsin Now, Citizen Action Wisconsin, and the National Democratic Redistricting Committee. Representatives with One Wisconsin Now say the law is unconstitutional.
To make sure that the laws that allow for communities to set their own hours and locations for early voting.
Governor Walker and Republicans who voted for it say it's only fair to have early voting over the same time period all across the state. A judge rejected a similar argument 2 years ago, leading to early voting as long as 6 weeks in the November election. The former Sun Prairie Girl Scout troop leader accused of sexually assaulting a now 13-year-old girl had been assaulting her since 2010. That's according to a criminal complaint. 49-year-old Stephen Faust had his initial court appearance this afternoon. The girl told police she had regular contact with Faust beginning when she was in kindergarten. And this was before he was with the Girl Scouts. It continued about twice a month for 5 years. Faust was assigned a signature bond with no monetary conditions. We are continuing to follow the Baraboo community's response to a controversial prom photo showing a group of high schoolers appearing to make a Nazi hand sign. Baraboo community leaders are beginning a series of programs this week to share a message of unity. Today begins a series called Baraboo Acts Serve to Unite. Tonight, community members will hear a message from 2 different groups impacted by some form of hate in the past. It's at 7:30 at the Al Ringling Theater. Tomorrow, the Baraboo School District will also have a Thunderbird Day of Peace exclusively for students. They'll hear presentations on civil rights, social media, literacy, diversity, and restorative justice. Next on News 3 at 6, a Madison chocolate store holding a grand opening tomorrow, but there won't be any chocolate for sale. We'll tell you why the business owner says fumes from a neighboring business ruined their products. That's next. Cocoa Chocolatiers' new location on East Washington is getting ready for its grand opening tomorrow. But today, folks there had to throw away their chocolate. Amanda Quintana in our newsroom with what caused the owner to lose thousands of dollars in product. Amanda?
Yes, well, right ahead of the holidays and right before their grand opening, Cocoa has no chocolate left because on Friday, fumes from the construction of a yoga studio next door got into the shop. Owner Vata Adari says her chocolates smell and taste like chemicals now. She has stopped production and has lost thousands of dollars of product and sales over the weekend. She says this all could have been prevented. Building management saying the mistake 1848 construction made was not communicating.
And everybody knows, everybody was on notice that my space needs to be protected. So it's really just a shame that they weren't a little bit more considerate with the way that they're building their space. And I'm also worried about what's going to happen next.
The CEO of 1848 Construction says the smell is just a byproduct of the construction process and people have different tolerances. Even though the odor has dissipated, Adari is still not sure there's not a public safety risk. She will not start making chocolate again until she gets test results back that show that there is no public safety risk. But there is still going to be an opening celebration. Tomorrow there's still going to be a ribbon cutting. There will just not be any chocolate.
Very difficult, especially this time of the year. Amanda Quintana in the News Center. Amanda, thank you. A Madison brewery is stepping up to help one of its fellow local brewers today. Earlier this month, burglars broke into Rockhound Brewing on Park Street and stole a safe containing close to $10,000. Since the business has only been around for a couple years, the owners say the theft could make it tough to pay their employees. And to help, fellow brewery Working Draft on East Wilson is hosting a Rockhound Recovery Night today. Until 10 o'clock tonight, they'll donate $1 from every house beer sale in their tap room to Rockhound's GoFundMe page. Rockhound has a goal of raising $5,000 on that GoFundMe page, and they'll donate any contributions beyond that mark to charity. Coming up after the break, a unique Christmas tree makes Mount Horeb its home as part of a national competition. And stay with us. The mild weather continues. Gary is in next to see if there's any chance of a white Christmas.
Find
As the holidays approach, it seems like you can't go anywhere without seeing Christmas lights. And while there are certainly some dazzling displays out there, this Mount Horeb business took a different approach by making one out of wood. Chris Leuenberg tells us more.
At Brunzell Lumber and Millwork, you'll find more sawdust than you will snow. But in order to help spread the holiday spirit, they've created this unique holiday lawn ornament. If there's one thing Josh Campbell knows how to design and build, it's trusses.
I grew up in rural Virginia building houses, and just kind of went from there.
That's right, trusses.
This is our production team here. We've got roof truss stations, we've got a floor truss machine behind us. We're doing quite a few apartments, townhomes, multifamily projects in the area right now.
That's what Brunzell Lumber and Millwork does. It makes trusses and panels. So when one of their suppliers challenged them to a nationwide Christmas tree building competition, well, what to make it out of seemed a bit obvious.
You don't typically design something like a Christmas tree in truss design software.
They set out to prove that the best truss could make the best tree.
We want it to go big. Hopefully we're going to beat out our other competitors around the nation.
And these craftspeople were up to the challenge.
I thought they might think it was a little lame, but they were thrilled.
Not just any old truss could handle the weight of the holiday spirit.
It was just figuring out how we were going to design it and lay it out so that it would pass all the appropriate loading like a typical truss would. We didn't want to cut any corners or try to figure out different ways.
Taking what they do every day and giving it a dose of holiday cheer.
When they first look at it, it's not necessarily the prettiest tree on the block, but I think if they stop and take a look at it, they'll realize that we're just connecting what we do to the holiday spirit.
The tree was constructed using 45 mini trusses, and the workers say it was a blast to make. In Mount Horeb, I'm Chris Leuenberg, WISC News 3.
The workers just submitted their Christmas tree to the competition for judging. They hope to bring home first place. All right, Gary's been asked 100 times, he said this week, if we're going to have a white Christmas. We're going to continue to badger you with that question throughout the course of the week, Gary.
You're going to be 101, right?
Yep.
Well, I'm still not looking for a white Christmas, other than maybe parts of central Wisconsin. This is visible cloud track, and you can see where the snow is still on the ground. Only a couple of inches up there, but it's enough that it might linger at least to the point to where we would have an inch of snow on the ground come Christmas morning. That's considered the threshold for a white Christmas. I think pretty much from about the Dells southward through Madison, and especially in Illinois, that's not going to be the case. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Skies are clear tonight. Temperatures have fallen off pretty quickly because the air is dry. We started out at 40 degrees this morning, or at 28 this morning. Our high temperature was at 40, but right now we've fallen back to 29. So we'll probably drop below that low temperature of 28 before midnight. Skies are clear, the air is calm, and I'm expecting temperatures to be in the lower 20s by early tomorrow morning. But over the next 7 days, here's another reason why we're just not expecting a good chance for a white Christmas, because even if we have precipitation, and that seems to be a little more likely in the Wednesday night, Thursday time period, notice the high temperatures above the freezing mark. So we might see a mixture of rain and snow showers, but nothing that would stick. Then as temperatures turn cold enough to keep snow on the ground, the weather should be dry from Friday through pretty much Christmas Eve. Farther out beyond that, beyond Christmas, above normal temperatures are expected over much of the eastern half of the country leading up to New Year's Eve, the 31st, the highest probability over the southeastern part of the country. Below normal temperatures out west, that usually sets up a very active storm track in between, and the precipitation outlook calling for a 70% chance or greater of above normal precipitation from Iowa through the Kansas City area, and about a 60% chance into southern Wisconsin. That's unusually high for an 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, but a pretty potent storm system is expected in the late Wednesday to Thursday and Friday time frame in between Christmas and New Year's, and that bears some watching, because initially we might be on the warm side of the storm with a mix of precipitation changing to rain, then there could be some snow on the back end of it. But right now the snow depth across the Midwest, generally areas north of Madison, and even that only a couple of inches. You really have to get up to southern Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin, and parts of the UP of Michigan before you even get to about a half a foot of snow on the ground. Temperatures are a little colder over that snow cover, mainly in the 20s. To the south, temperatures right now in the 30s. Des Moines, Iowa, still at 44 degrees. Upper level winds still from the west. That brings in mild Pacific air, and those winds even turn more southwesterly out to the west of us. So that will keep our temperatures above average for the next couple of days. This low pressure system is a weak one. It'll move eastward, but a second storm system in the southwestern part of the country will move eastward. Eventually, those two storms will combine Temperatures cold enough for snow up to the north, warm enough for rain down to the south, and the next weather system will mainly be in the form of rain because as it really comes together down to our south, that's where most of the precipitation will be, and our chances for rain and snow will be late Wednesday into Thursday. So our forecast overnight, mostly clear, a little colder, low temperature dropping to 22. Tomorrow, look for a high of 42 under mostly sunny skies, so another mild day. Future track, skies clear overnight, low temperatures dropping into the lower 20s, high temperatures tomorrow, lower 40s, plenty of sunshine. Notice the winds out of the south. Tomorrow night, clouds move in later on with low temperatures only around freezing, and then look for high temperatures back in the lower 40s for Wednesday. Rain and snow chances probably holding off until later Wednesday night. 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures turn a little colder, but really not looking for any accumulating snow, rain and snow chances early on Thursday, and then pretty dry through Christmas. Maybe a few flurries Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, and that storm toward the end of next week.
Well, Packers interim head coach Joe Philbin, he's laying down the law. You get paid, you will play. More from Green Bay. That's next in sports.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carolla. Tonight on the news at 9, Green Cab is back open after it closed due to a string of robberies. What Chief Mike Koval is saying about those attacks, it's all first on Fox at 9.
Well, it has been an eventful and busy week for 11 Badger football players that can now officially call themselves alumni of the University of Wisconsin. It's been quite the journey for a lot of these guys, putting in the hours of work in the classroom while balancing football, practice, and games, off-season training. And it took a lot of overcoming adversity, time management, and hard work to get here, but it was all worth it.
You don't come here just to play football. You come here to get a degree. You come here to be a part of the culture that is Madison. You want to be a whole person when you leave, and I feel like getting a degree here, it really signifies that you're a good person. You worked hard. You did the right things. You didn't take any shortcuts. It's not easy. So it's something to be very proud of.
I think when you first get here, it's like, man, I mean, you're running all around. You have no free time. You know, you're really stressed out with trying to get good grades and also try to play good football. It's not for the faint of heart, and you really have to put a lot of work in to get to that point.
The Packers making some roster moves today, claiming running back Capri Bibbs today. If you're like, who? Well, join the club. He was most recently on the Redskins. Now, this move does not bode well for the health of Aaron Jones. He left yesterday's game against the Bears in the first quarter after he hurt his knee. Meanwhile, after yesterday's lackluster loss against the Bears, what is the plan for the rest of the season? Well, most of the locker room saying last night that now you play for pride and for this team. So according to interim head coach Joe Philbin, there will be no sitting out or saving players like Aaron Rodgers for next season, because if you get paid, you will play.
My philosophy is that, you know, football players are paid to play football games and football coaches are paid to coach football games. So, you know, obviously we have to go through the week, and we would never put any player out there that wasn't physically ready to go. But, you know, that's my general philosophy and overall philosophy, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or anybody else. I mean, these are Green Bay, you know, we're the Green Bay Packers, we're a football team, and we're in the business of winning football games. And, you know, we want all our players who are healthy to contribute to the overall success of the team, period.
All right, to the Bucs now. No Malcolm Brogdon tonight. He's still recovering from a hamstring injury. No Ersan Ilyasova either. Officially, injury on him is a nose contusion. Bucs in Detroit tonight. The Pistons are a struggling 14-13 so far this season, but a respectable, we'll call it respectable, 10-6 record at home. This one just getting underway. We'll have highlights later tonight on News 3 at 10. And finally tonight, the Indiana Pacers making NBA history today, hiring Kelly Krauskopf as assistant general manager of the team. She's the first female assistant general manager in the league and was already at her first practice this afternoon. So to some applause from the players and some hugs from Victor Oladipo. Krauskopf was president and general manager of Indiana's WNBA team for 17 years. She most recently oversaw the Pacers' esports entry in the NBA 2K League. So pretty cool stuff happening.
Just a matter of time before you get the first female coach. Becky Hammond was close last year, right?
Very close.
Big
so we'll
step.
see.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. Final check, Gary.
Pretty comfortable out there right now. 29 degrees in Madison. Temperatures lower to middle 30s to our south. Otherwise, the 7 to 10 day forecast, you can see those readings going down a little bit each day, but really not by a lot. Lower 40s for tomorrow and Wednesday. Thursday, we could see some light rain and snow showers from Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then just look for dry weather Thursday afternoon. Then dry weather Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Christmas Eve Monday, so that's good news for travelers there. Maybe some flurries Monday night into Christmas Day Tuesday, and then the time period to watch, I think, is going to be late Wednesday into Thursday of next week. Some mixed precipitation, maybe changing to rain, and then back to snow toward the end of the week.
Just a few flurries on Christmas Eve might be nice.
Well, flurries would be fine. I'd be happy with that.
Make it so just festive if we could get that. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for News 3 at 10. Have a good one.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.